I'm going to share a very unpopular opinion with you right now. I really enjoyed the Fallout 76 beta. Hello and welcome everybody to my first impressions review of Fallout 76, the beta. I got to play it on November 1st for about 5 hours, and I am looking forward to diving right on into this. So, let's get started. Oh, shh. Cutscene.
War never changes. In 1776, this great nation accepted that armed conflict was the only way to preserve our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If our founding fathers could only see us now. From Antietam to Amiens, Okinawa to Anchorage, we have fought. And now, the Red Menace is at our doorstep. Democracy itself is under threat of annihilation. That is why today, July 4th, 2076, 300 years after our great nation began, we gather together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you, the good people of America, so that if the bombs do come, if the end does come, our way of life will endure. But not everyone will be saved. Those chosen to enter this vault must be our best and our brightest. For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself. So as we stand here today, we pray that the world will know peace. But if that is not our destiny, if war must come, we stand together knowing that here in Vault 76, our future begins.
Alright, and after that beautiful cutscene, let's dive right on into this. I'm going to split this up into a few segments here. However, I want to get started with the bad. Alright, so just talk a bit about the bad things I found. The bugs. Let's just get this out of the way right now. There are bugs in this game. There are quite a few bugs in this game. I didn't find them to be, game-breaking. I didn't discover any game-breaking bugs. There was one, there's an escort event with Mr. Messenger, where you have to escort him to a house so he can deliver a message. At one point, after you fight some enemies, all of a sudden, the movement animation for Mr. Messenger slows right down to about the same speed you are when you're over encumbered and out of action points. It's just so slow, and I thought it was part of the event, but it really isn't. It's just a bug where his animation slowed down for whatever reason. That was really annoying. Besides that, there was a lot of lag. Not a lot, actually, but there were definite spikes. When you spin the camera, there's a lot of frame rate drops, things like that. But this, again, is a beta. It is a stress test. These are expected. I don't think it'll be in the main game. If it is, that's kind of a disappointment, but again, not game-breaking in any way. There were a few instances where I was walking around and enemies would spawn around me, especially in events. Events were the worst for this, where you would go in, you would clear out a room, and then all of a sudden that room would be full of enemies again. That got me killed a couple times. That was really bad. I'm not sure what causes it, whether it's other people entering the event area and the game gets confused and respawns the enemies, or if it's just a quirk. Hopefully that's fixed in the main game, because that was pretty annoying. The next bad thing that I noticed was the quest tracking. Now, it's not horrible. It is a little inconvenient. To stop tracking a quest, you go into your map, you click on the marker, and you say stop tracking it. Not a big deal. The bad part comes from just wandering the wasteland. You end up picking up a lot of events, a lot of quests, a lot of little things just from grabbing a holotape. All of a sudden you have a new marker on your map, and that gets really confusing because the map on your HUD, or the compass on your HUD, is all of a sudden full of these little markers, multiple markers, and you get confused about where you're going. Again, pretty easy fix. You just stop tracking whatever quest it is, but that gets pretty tedious after a while. Another thing I would like to see is the inclusion of a more varied server, and by that I mean a server where you can choose to have PvP enabled the entire time, or strictly a PvE server. I think that would be really cool, because right now the mix of the two, while it does work, it doesn't work for everybody so well, because you'll have PvPers who just want to fight and they're sort of bothering the PvMers, and there's a couple times like during events where you can capture a point and then all of a sudden you're engaged in PvP when someone else tries to capture that point. That's a little annoying for PvMers, so it would be cool to see varied servers. Also, I would like to see bigger servers, because right now I think the cap is between 24 and 32 players per server, which is a lot, but fuck. But as time goes on, you're gonna see the player base spread out from each other. Now, this is good in that it's a wasteland and everything, but it would be cool to see more players, because that was probably the most enjoyable part, was running into other players. When I'm about to die, all of a sudden there's another player there and he comes out of the blue and he helps me out, or vice versa. I thought that was a really enjoyable part, and I would like to see bigger, more populous servers. Now finally, my biggest gripe with this game so far is that on the main quest, they hold your hand so much through the entire experience. You get out of bed, and it's the overseer telling you, hey, I'm leaving the vault. I have my secret mission. Come find me, hint, hint. And then you leave, and there's a Mr. Handy waiting for you, and he immediately says, oh, the overseer's camp is down there, down these steps, follow the road, right next to the river. And then you go there, because you also have a map marker, as if that wasn't enough information. You have a map marker. You go there, and you pick up a holotape, and it says, oh, I'm going to continue down this road, and I'm going to find something else, and my camp will be over there. And then, of course, you get another map marker, along with the information she just gave you about how to find her. And then you go to that camp, and it's a little tutorial, and that's actually pretty well done. But then you find another holotape, and it tells you, oh, I'm in this town now, go there. And then you get the map marker. And that goes on for a while. I got to a part in the game. I'm going to try not to give away any spoilers. I got to a part in the story where you have to start collecting samples. And up until that point, they very much held your hand. And I didn't really enjoy that. Other parts, like events, things like that, there's a lot less hand-holding. They still tell you what to do, you still get the map markers, but it's a lot more vague, and you kind of have to figure things out yourself. Not so much with the main quest. The main quest is very much, I'm here, go here, you don't have a choice, here's the fucking marker, you idiot. I didn't like that, but as far as gripes go, it's not a big one. It's not a game ruiner. It was still a very enjoyable quest. I was still hooked on it. I really enjoyed the exposition you get from the tapes. But, you know how it goes. And just to cap off the bad here, there's the menus. They can be a little bit clunky, especially in the base building aspect of the game. The menus are a little clunky. And sometimes when you're shooting at an enemy, you'll just miss, even when you really should have hit that enemy. Or sometimes you'll hit an enemy that you really should have missed. That has to do with lag, so I'm assuming that'll be fixed in the main game once the stress test is over and lags are brought down. Anyway, let's move on to the good. The good. So obviously there's a lot of good in this game. The game is gorgeous and super atmospheric. So There's a part where you have to go investigate an airport. In that airport, it's really dark, it's really creepy, the lighting effects are fucking phenomenal. Now, when I was walking through, there was an enemy that I didn't see. He just sort of appeared in front of me and scared the living shit out of me because I was so immersed. I was so on edge in this one spot. I thought that was really cool, really good world building. Bravo, Bethesda. The gameplay itself is really, really fun. All aspects of it. The controls are pretty solid. Running feels good. I like what they did. When your natural movement speed is actually pretty fast. You can sneak, you can slow it down. There's an auto walk feature. That's all really cool. One thing I really liked that they did was when you're over encumbered, it uses your action points just to walk normally. So you do have sort of a buffer in between walking really slow, and that's really nice, especially when you're just trying to get to your stash. Another thing that I really enjoyed was the leveling up system, the special. I thought that was really, really cool. It gave a nice new feel where you level up your special stats, and that enables you to put more cards that you receive into each stat, and then you can boost up the cards. So now they take 3 points in a special category, like 3 points in strength to equip one card, and then you have to mix and match, and you can pull them out at any time and change your character build. That was really well done to me. That is awesome. I really like it. And, you know, one final thing to praise the game for, the way they handled the survival elements, including eating, drinking, diseases. I found that to be spot on. It didn't feel horribly forced, as most survival modes do. But this did give you a fairly good incentive to start collecting meat, start hunting down rad stags. I thought that was really cool. That it just added to the experience of, oh shit, I'm in a wasteland. And I thought it was really well done. And yeah. One more thing that they did really right was the way that ammunition and caps are handled in the game. It feels like there is a finite supply. At the start of the game, I was not so conservative with my ammunition, and I found out very quickly you really do need to conserve that, because not only does it have weight, which limits the amount that you can bring with you, but it's a little harder to find and costs a lot more if you do happen to find a shop. Caps are not caps are not worth as much as they were in previous Fallout games. So everything is a lot more expensive, and it makes you pay attention to how many resources you're using. Anyway, with all that being said, let's wrap this up. So to just wrap this up, I'd like to thank everyone, first of all, for listening to me ramble for the better part of 12 minutes. I really, really enjoyed this game. I thought it was really well done, and I see a lot of potential for it. Yeah, there are some issues, but they're not major issues. You know, a little bit of hand-holding, a little bit of lag, some stuttering, a few glitches. That doesn't take away from the overall experience of the game. The only major issue that really bothered me, like I said, was the enemy spawning around me when I had already cleared out a room and killing me, because that really sucks. No one likes to die during these games at no fault of their own. But again, it doesn't ruin the game. I think it's very solid. They did a lot of things right, and I'm looking forward to seeing the release and seeing the community that builds behind this, because this is going to be a massive game, and I think it's going to go on for a while. This may not be Fallout 5 that everyone was hoping for, but it is a cool little experiment by Bethesda, and I'm glad they did it. Hey everybody, I just want to thank you again for listening to me go on and on about this. I know it wasn't a very informative video, kind of had no point to it, but I just wanted to get something out there. I really wanted to talk about Fallout, because I love this game. I love it a lot. I'm very excited to see where it goes from here, and I hope you all give it a shot. If you don't, you know, whatever. But regardless, thanks for sticking around, watching the video. Really appreciate it. Oh shit, one last thing I forgot to mention, guys. I'm going to be streaming this on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/sticksandbeans, same as my YouTube channel. I'm going to be streaming it all weekend for the remainder of the beta anyway. Probably once the game launches, I'll be doing a lot more content in 76 because this is extremely fun. Hopefully I'll see you guys there.